What if you could transform the choices you make and unlock your business potential? Every decision you make has the power to shift your path. You have the ability to make inspired choices that drive growth and sales. Get ready to tap into the innovative power within you. Now, here's your host of Inspired Choices for Business Growth, business optimization expert, Christine McIver.
Welcome, everyone. Yes, I am Christine McIver, and tonight we're talking all about business shame. Do you carry business shame? Have you ever experienced business shame? This is going to be an interesting show. It might be a triggering show, and I'm getting that it might be a little vulnerable for me because I'm going to share my personal experiences so that you can relate, right? Does just general shame count? Absolutely. We have a question in the chat room. So if you are joining us live, you can definitely post your questions here at inspiredchoicesnetwork.com/chat room or wherever you're watching. If you're watching on Facebook or YouTube or even in TikTok tonight, we are in TikTok and we are also live streaming on many, many platforms. So who the hell am I and why the hell should you listen? So my name is Christine McIver. I'm a business optimization expert. I'm the CEO of Inspired Choices Network, ICN Inc., and I am also the author of CEO Without Apology, my recently published best-selling book. So I have been in my own business now for 17 years. I have been doing all sorts of things in business, and I have had the experiences of business shame. Now, this is not generally a topic that people talk about. Business shame is not something that you hear people talk about because we are all trying to put our best face forward. We certainly don't want to come out and be vulnerable and authentic about the struggles that we are having. But the fact of the matter is many of us have struggles in business. Many of us are trying to figure out how the hell we do business and how the hell we make it through to our next paycheck with our business. So lots of people, whether you have just started a business or you've been in business for a long time, this can be your experience. You can be experiencing business shame, and I want to tell you right now, you don't need to be ashamed about this because business shame is something that is a normal, in my interesting point of view, is a normal process in being in your own business. So here's generally the way that business goes for most people. You get a brilliant idea about what you think could really make money. You tell it to maybe one or two people and they're all excited for you, and you jump in and you really are making, building the plane while you are falling. And that business seems so exciting and so wonderful in the beginning. And then what we start to do, business owners start to do, is we start to look around and we start to look at what other people are doing in business. And we start to do comparison, right? We all get comparison-itis when we are in our own businesses. And we start to see, why is that person successful? What are they doing that I need to be doing? And why should I do what they're doing? And what if I don't do what they're doing? Does that mean I'm not going to be successful? And we start running around in our heads trying to figure out how to be successful. Then we kind of figure out, okay, so this is the program. This is what you're supposed to do to be successful in business. And we begin to mimic other people in business. We are mimicking what they're doing. Okay, I've got this down pat. I'm doing what they're doing. I'm doing all of these things. And yet, it's not happening. My business isn't growing. I'm not making the money. I'm struggling. So many of us that are in our own businesses, we work solo. We're working from home and we're trying to figure out how to do this thing. And what happens is we start to really look at, why am I not being successful? So we start to turn this in. We start to turn it in on ourselves. And we start to believe that maybe there's something wrong with me. Maybe there's something wrong with how I'm doing this. If you struggle with any kind of self-doubt or fear, if you have any kind of personal issues around, relationships or worthiness, you bring all of that baggage with you into your business. And when you bring all of this baggage into your business, now you're not only trying to figure out how to do business, you're trying to navigate all of your shadows within your business. It's a real dance, my friends. It's a real dance. And while you're doing this, you're probably thinking, I got to pay the bills. How am I going to pay the bills? I got to push harder. I got to work harder. Push, 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 right? How many of you out there right now, raise your hand, give me a thumbs up. How many of you out there have really been pushing yourself and to the point that you're just about burned out and you're concerned about your mental health, you're concerned about your physical health? My producer says, are you in my head? How many of you have gotten to the point where your family has actually said something, they're concerned about you? How many of you have gotten to the point where you're thinking, this thing is not for me? You know what? I'm not being successful, so I should just give it up. Well, let me tell you a little story. When I started my business, I did exactly that. I started out, I was really excited. I had this idea that I thought, oh my gosh, this could really, really be something. And I was so excited. And I started to do my business. And then I took a couple of courses and I was listening to the gurus and I was like, okay, I'll do it this way. I'll do it this way. I started pushing myself to do it in a certain way. And when it wasn't working, I thought, well, then that means I need to push harder, right? That means I need to push harder. No, it doesn't mean that you need to push harder, but that's what we think because we've got it all in our head and we're holding it back from sharing it with anybody because we don't want anyone to know how difficult a time that we are having. And so we hold it back and we push harder and we push harder and we're working around the clock and we're trying to hold all of this in. We are like a ticking time bomb. So many people, so many entrepreneurs, self-employed individuals are like a ticking time bomb because they're trying so hard to put their heart and soul out there and provide for themselves and their families, and yet they are lost and they're feeling overwhelmed. I remember the first time I hired a coach. I probably was, the first 3 or 4 times when I was in those coaching sessions, I was probably crying nearly the whole time because I had held so much in. And a lot of that, I felt shame. I felt like I wasn't doing enough and it was my own fault. I screwed everything up. That's not true. The biggest piece around being in your own business and feeling like you're screwing things up is because you believe or you've bought into somebody's belief that you need to do it this way. You need to do it a certain way. And that's bullshit. I'll tell you right now, that is absolute bullshit. The way you need to do it is the way that is in alignment with you. And this is the thing that we are missing. And you could be in business for years and years and years, and this is still something you are doing. I got to a point in my business, I had pushed myself so hard that this was about, let me see, this was 9 years into my business. So 9 years. So if you are in your business less than 9 years, please listen. So I'm into my business 9 years, and we were just going to launch the Inspired Choices Network. And I was trying so hard to have everything right and have everything perfect. And I had hired a company to assist. And, I bought the lie that I couldn't afford a lot. So therefore, I hired somebody less qualified. Well, like my dad always said, you get what you pay for. And so I got this company that they were not attention to detail. And if you know me, I'm always paying attention to the little details. And I wanted the network, which is a live streaming, multimedia, video, audio podcast platform. I wanted the platform to really be crisp and work well, and for all of the hosts on the network to feel confident in what we had created, because we were moving from a different platform to the current platform. And so because of this, And because of the decision in my mind when I wanted it to launch, I started working around the clock because I figured it had to be a certain way. And I started working around the clock again and again and again. And I pushed myself to the point that I was working 16-hour days. And when I would get up from my computer, when I get up from my desk, I couldn't stand up straight, my friends. I was pushing my body to a past its limits. And I didn't listen to my body. I had in my mind that in order for me to be successful, I had to just keep pushing and pushing and pushing. Well, the result of that was my body started to break down. I actually developed shingles, and it took a very long toll for me to recover after that exhaustion and then the shingles. And the lesson that I learned in that it was that I shouldn't work that hard. I shouldn't work those long hours. But guess what? I didn't 100% pay attention. I kept doing this, but I would modify it. I didn't work that hard because again, the fear of not succeeding, the fear of not being seen as someone who was professional, the fear of people believing that I couldn't follow through on what I said I was going to follow through on was so loud. And fear is it's the underlying current of shame. Fear is the underlying current of shame. We are so afraid of what people will think of us. We're so afraid of how we are going to be perceived is that we hold back because we're ashamed of where we are at. We are ashamed of the choices that we have made. And instead of putting our hand up, like if you were drowning, you would put your hand up and ask for help. But God help us. We don't do this in business. And I was so afraid to put my hand up and tell people that I was ashamed and that I was struggling so deeply that I kept pushing myself and pushing myself. And I was drowning. I was drowning in confusion. I was drowning in my own sorrow. And I was drowning in confusion of what I needed to do to succeed. One of the biggest things that I can tell you right now is if you are even experiencing a tenth of what I'm talking about, the absolute best thing you can do is ask for support. When I hired my first business coach, and yes, I'm a business coach and I want to support other people. I'm going to tell you this, but this is the God's truth. When I hired my first business coach, my business started to shift immediately because I got out from underneath that, that shadow of shame. That shadow of shame held me back for years to succeed. The difference in my own belief system about me and my skill set and today the bottom line in my business and the people that are part of my team, that has changed exponentially because I said no more to this shame. I am no longer going to hold back the truth of what is going on for me. And I am going to get the support that I need. When we want to learn something new, we take a class or we hire someone to support us. That should be the exact same thing in business. I can tell you right now, if I'd have hired somebody out of the gate when I started my business to guide me, a real guide to point me in the direction, to help me see the blind spots, to show me where I was not being authentic with myself, to show me where I was really hurting myself and missing out on opportunities. If I had have done that from the beginning, I know today I would be twice as far as I am in business. It's not a judgment. It's a reality of what I know because I can see the changes that have taken place since I have no longer been chained to shame. If you feel like you're chained to shame, if you feel like you're embarrassed to share with anyone where you're at in business, my friend, you're not alone and you don't have to stay there. It is time for business owners to seek out the support that they require. You don't have to do it on national, across the web like I am tonight. You don't have to do that. But I strongly suggest that you hire a business coach. Even if you hire a business coach for 1 hour, they will give you more insight than you can possibly imagine, and it can change your life. And the reason I say it can change your life is because you're not separate from your business. Your business is part of who you are, and who you are is part of your business. Everything about you, you bring to your business, and what's going on in your business, you bring to your life, right? I've said this a million times. Your business came to you so it could come through you, but it also is going to be the biggest thing that's going to stretch you. It's going to stretch you to really see who you are and to learn how to love and support yourself in a different way than anything else can. All right, we are up for our first break of the show. I don't want you to go anywhere. I've got more that I want to share with you. After the break, you are listening to Inspired Choices for Business Growth with your host, Christine McIver. That's me. And we are on the Inspired Choices Network. Stick around, my friends. We got more to share with you after the break.
What if every business decision you made was aligned with a clear vision for your future success? Imagine the impact on your growth and profitability. On Inspired Choices for Business Growth, business optimization expert Christine McIver challenges you to focus your decisions on the bigger picture, helping you align your actions with the future you want for your business and yourself. With her expert insights and no-holds-barred approach, Christine guides you to optimize your business strategies for sustained growth and success. Ready to make choices that drive your business forward? Tune in now to start shaping your future today.
Are you a subject matter expert? Are you here to share your expertise with an audience waiting to hear from you in only the way you can deliver? Are you ready to have your voice amplified across the airwaves? Inspired Choices Network has a global radio platform streaming to millions of people across the world. Professionally produced and supported by an accomplished team every step of the way, you can broadcast from anywhere in the world, knowing your voice matters, and we ensure it is delivered with ease and efficiency. Eager to hear your message, the world awaits. Contact us today to become an Inspired Choices Network radio host. Email become a host at inspiredchoicesnetwork.com.
This is Inspired Choices for Business Growth with business optimization expert Christine McIver. To participate in the program, join our live studio audience in our chat room at inspiredchoicesnetwork.com. You can also make the choice to ask or comment by email by sending to Christine at christinemciver.com. Now, back to the program.
Welcome back, everyone. Yes, I'm Christine McIver. You're listening to Inspired Choices for Business Growth, and we are on the Inspired Choices Network, which is our home platform. So tonight we're talking all about business shame, and we're talking about this so we can change it. You know, it's the same thing with anything. If you don't talk about something, if you don't look at something, if you don't address something, it cannot change. If you've been doing personal development work on any level, and you've learned like, wow, you know, I'm glad that I finally addressed that, you know it's important to address things. As we grow, as we get older, as we evolve in our lives, in our careers, in our businesses, you know, what I have learned is that we need to keep digging deeper and deeper. Your business will grow to the level that you grow. So if you're not doing your personal development and you wonder, why is my business not growing? It's because of you. And when you do your personal development work, when you continue to look at what's going on for you and you're not worried about it, but you're like curious about it, your business is going to start to evolve and grow. And that is the best thing, the absolute best thing, because my friends, I truly believe that every single one of us have something to bring to the world. I've often said, if your voice is not added to the conversation does not truly begin. You've brought something with you into this lifetime, and the world is needing it, especially at this time. We need people to step up with their brilliance, with their courage. We need people to step up with their consciousness and share what they know. And the thing that I've learned over the years is until you start to speak, until you start to really open up, you don't even know some of the things that you know that are buried deep within you, or that spirit is actually going to give to you. Lots of times, and my producers will confirm this, I'll come up with a show title, I'll come up with a little bit of content, and I show up I don't sit and write out my shows. I really authentically just sit here and I allow myself to open up. I allow myself to tap my own gold, and I allow myself for the universe to come to me, to come through me, so that I can share with each and every person listening so that it can contribute to you. So I strongly suggest that if you are struggling in your business, whatever area you're struggling in, that's just the surface information about what you're struggling. There's probably a lot more underneath that you're not even aware of. In the first episode, I talked about how business shame is a normal process of being in business. It really, really is. If you've never been in business before, it may shock you. It may actually pull you back from wanting to continue. Please don't give up. Please allow yourself the grace to learn and to grow, and allow yourself the opportunity to learn about what kind of support is out here. I shared with you that I hired a business coach. I can't even remember what year I've hired a business coach, but ever since then, I've never stopped. I have moved from one business coach to another, but I have never stopped. And I have a group of amazing colleagues and dear friends who also operate as my business colleague and business coach at times. We support each other and we challenge each other, and we are there to show each other sometimes the gaps that we don't see. We don't do this out of business. We do this out of supporting colleagues, kind of like a mastermind, but we also all have business coaches. And this is critical. This is a really, really important thing because business changes so quickly. Business is always changing. And if you're doing your personal development work, your business is going to need to evolve, and you may not know what it needs to go to that next level. So ask yourself, would something change if I hired a business coach? And just get the energy of that. What is that saying to you? If someone was beside you and someone was actually showing you what they are hearing, what they are seeing with the way that you are operating, how much would that actually be a benefit? And I know that lots of people, whether they've taken counseling or coaching of some kind, they're very apprehensive. Lots of people are very apprehensive because they don't want people to know the truth about them. You see, we carry shame in all sorts of ways because we believe that we're supposed to be better. And we don't want people to see where we struggle. We don't want people to see where we're not good enough. Well, guess what? That bullshit that you bought into, that I bought into about you're not good enough, that's based on somebody else's standards. And that's based on, programming that we've received from society. Maybe we've received that from our family of origin. And remember, your parents, they were also programmed with all of these things. I remember my father was in his own business, and when he struggled in his business, when he wasn't doing well in his business, he really turned in on himself, and he struggled with shame. I know that was a huge, huge piece for him. And he turned in on himself, and he drank himself really, really into a deep, dark hole. And every time he did that, it would take a long, long time for him to get up out of that. And I didn't understand it. I was quite young at the time. My father passed away when I was 23, but I understand it today because I've experienced some of that, and I can look back and I can reflect on where he was at. He didn't know about having someone support him. I mean, back then, that business coaches weren't something that was out there. You might have a friend, or maybe your accountant would give you a little bit of information, but you were not. They used to say, don't hang out your dirty laundry for everybody to see. That's what that was about. That's what that saying was about. It was like, don't share the shame that you're struggling with. And why? Why didn't we want to share the shame? Because people would use it against us. But here's the truth, my friends. When you are the one bringing the truth to the table, they can't out you. They can't hurt you. What can somebody actually do? If you don't buy into the bullshit that somebody can control you by sharing your personal information, you take their power away. And that's what I would love to encourage you to do. You don't have to bring this to the airwaves, but strongly consider having a business coach so you can get through this part and your business can flourish. Every single solitary business can flourish, and you can actually have pleasure in your business. Imagine what it would be like to get up every day and to be excited about your business, to be excited about your business ideas, and to be able to move through this without carrying fear or worry or shame, right? You know, if you are in business or you've ever been in business and you're struggling financially, this is not about you not being good enough. This is about a system. This is about perhaps moving through some of your dark shadows and getting the support to move beyond it. You know, when I work with a coach and I come up against something that is a belief system that's limiting me, I don't walk away from it anymore. I look at it and I move through it because I know that at my core, I bring value to people. And whatever is limiting me 99.999% of the time probably has nothing to do with who I am and where my heart lives. It probably has something to do with some old programming that I bought into or something that's going on in the world that I think is part of who I am. And that's not true. Now, the big thing about shame is that shame will hold you back from making bold decisions and from taking risks. Now, you don't have to be taking huge risks and borrowing a ton of money and investing it in all sorts of things. That's not what I'm talking about. But a bold decision for you might be to change something that you've been doing. And, you know, fear and shame will often have us hold on tightly to what we already have because we can't see what's on the other side of where we are at. And when we can't see it, we believe that it must be something to fear. That's not true. It's just something you haven't discovered yet. Something that you will hear me say in my shows, if this is the first time you're listening, something that I say at the very end of every single show is you can always make another choice. And in this instance, that's so important for you to understand because you can make a choice and you can say, oh, I'm going to try this. And you try it and you're like, I don't know. And then you can make another choice. I often tell my business clients that I want you to think of business and business choices as you're stepping up to a buffet. When you go to a buffet, you don't automatically go, no, that's bad. I shouldn't try that. A buffet is a fun opportunity to try things you've maybe never tried before. And when you try it, you get to choose in that moment, is this something I'm interested in or is this something I'm going to pass? What if you actually stepped into business with that same mindset? I'm going to try this. I'm going to see if this works for me. And if it does, I'm going to continue with it. And if it doesn't, I'm going to make another choice. Your choices are not life and death. Right? Your choices are opportunities to learn if something works for you or if it doesn't work for you. Your choices are things that you get to experience with your business. And you're not going to blow your business up if you don't make that choice. And if it's the quote unquote wrong choice. Right? You get to experience something new. So I want you to remember that if you want your business to change and you want your business to grow, you need to be making changes. You need to be taking some risks, making some bold choices. And if shame is in there, fear is in there, that's going to be preventing you from moving forward. And when you're making these bold choices, when you're saying yes to something new and you're stepping out on the stage of your business and with something new, and you feel shame, you're not going to be bringing your best self to the table. You're not going to be authentically you, because the authentic you doesn't carry fear or shame about who you are. The authentic you celebrates who you are and where you are at in your life and in your business. So if that's not the case, that's the place where you want to start to look. That's the place where you want to start to ask some questions of yourself, or even just start journaling. Like, what would happen if you started to speak to your business and communicate to your business through journaling? Okay? Your business is its own entity. Your business has its own energy and it has its own possibilities. Nobody is in their business by themselves. There's no solo entrepreneurs in my world, because your business is your business partner. So start communicating with your business, talk to your business, ask your business questions. And as you get hints, as you get ideas, as you start to really feel something new, take a step and then take another step and begin to discover what it is that your business wants to lead you to. All right, we are up to our next break of the show. This is going very quickly. If you have any questions, if you would like to ask me any questions, please come on over. You can even join us live on audio in the show. Come on over to inspiredchoicesnetwork.com/chat room. And our producer, my fabulous producer, Danielle, will get you all set up, or you can just type your questions right there in the chat room. All right, my friends, as I said, you're listening to Inspired Choices for Business Growth. My name is Christine McIver, and we are on the Inspired Choices Network, and we will be right back.
What if every business decision you made was aligned with a clear vision for your future success? Imagine the impact on your growth and profitability. On Inspired Choices for Business Growth, business optimization expert Christine McIver challenges you to focus your decisions on the bigger picture, helping you align your actions with the future you want for your business and yourself. With her expert insights and no-holds-barred approach, Christine guides you to optimize your business strategies for sustained growth and success. Ready to make choices that drive your business forward? Tune in now to start shaping your future today.
How wonderful would it be to carry your favorite Inspired Choices Network host with you throughout your day? Well, now you can. Inspired Choices Network now has its very own mobile app. Our free app offers live streaming shows, along with thousands of podcasts and TV episodes. Our shows cover a wide variety of topics. Whether you're waking up with us, carrying us through the day, and taking us to bed with you, we're always here for you to enjoy. We're easy to find. Just search for Inspired Choices Network in the Apple App Store or Google Play Store.
This is Inspired Choices for Business Growth with business optimization expert Christine McIver. To participate in the program, join our live studio audience in our chat room at inspiredchoicesnetwork.com. You can also make the choice to ask or comment by email by sending to Christine@ChristineMcIver.com. Now, back to the program.
Welcome back, everyone. Yes, I'm Christine McIver. I am the host of Inspired Choices for Business Growth, and we're on Inspired Choices Network. Tonight, we're talking all about business shame, and business shame being such a huge boulder that can stop us from growing in our businesses and really creating a prosperous and joyful business. Business shame, as I said earlier, the root of business shame is fear. And if you are just starting out in your business, or you've been in business for years and you know there can be more, you likely have some layer of business shame in it. Now, I'm going to give a shameless plug to my newest book called CEO Without Apology. This book is it addresses so many different subjects that we as business owners struggle with. And I give you great tips on the things that you can be doing to change things in your business. We're talking about assumptions in your business, ideas that pull you back, all sorts of different subjects. And when you do, you can also get all these free resources we've put together to really help you grow your business. So if you're not ready yet to hire a business coach, that's a book that can certainly give you some support and move you forward. And if you are ready to have a conversation, send me an email, Christine@ChristineMcIver.com. We'll get on a 30-minute call, no charge, and we'll see where you're at and what would really be helpful for you to support you to move forward. I tell you, I took advantage of one of those free calls with someone about 5 years ago. Completely changed my business. You just don't know what you can get in 30 minutes that can be such a huge contribution. So don't be ashamed that you maybe don't have the money right now. Take advantage of what you can and see what the universe will bring your way when you're willing to be vulnerable. Vulnerability is the opportunity to shed off all the heavy weight of shame. Vulnerability is the opportunity for you to just lay it all on the line and say, you know what? I don't care anymore. I'm doing this for me. And this is something, I think it's a gift. I've been there so many times that, you know what, at this point, I don't care what people think of me. Of course, I want people to like me. Of course, I want to be accepted. Of course, I want to have friends. I'm a human being. But I'm at the point now that my relationship with me is the most important relationship of all. If I'm not taking care of me, if I'm not loving and caring for me and really looking at the wounds that I need to pay attention to, my relationships with other people will never be fully informed. They'll never be fully experienced because I'm not showing up fully. Being vulnerable is tough at first, but when you finally say enough is enough, I'm going to have it all, you will start to step into it. I can tell you that one of my most vulnerable in my business has been around money and around the struggle that I had. So in 2018, 2019, I was really having a difficult time financially. And while I was running my business and it was going okay, I just couldn't seem to get ahead. And I always seemed to have the debt was there and it just kept piling up and piling up. And no matter how hard I tried, I just couldn't get my head above water. And I had a deep conversation with a dear friend, and we spent hours in a hotel room having a few cocktails, talking, and I was crying through the whole thing. And what I was actually doing is I was releasing the shame because I was finally ready to share with someone what was truly holding me back from breaking free of the shame and holding me back from changing what needed to be changed. You know, in a business, sometimes you've got to let go of things. Sometimes you've got to change things up. And well, I had gotten to that point that I really needed to change things. And I actually ended up financially, I had to close down the business and I had to start again. And in closing down the business, I did what we call a proposal. It's kind of a step underneath a bankruptcy. And that was so shameful for me. I was so humiliated that I had to do this. I was so embarrassed. I didn't want anybody to know. And, you know, when we hold shame, it's like holding those secrets. They actually are holding you. You're not holding them. And they're holding you back. And finally, I said enough is enough. And I started to share this with my clients. I started to share this with my audience that this is what I had gone through. And when I finally started to understand financially what was really going on, what goes on with credit card companies and how you're nothing to them. You're just a number to them. They don't care about your emotions or your feelings or what your business is or isn't doing. When I really started to understand the business system that is in the world, I started to let go of this very, very quickly. Now, I was guided and supported to make some really stronger choices. I definitely upped my learning and understanding around finances with my business. And I started to change things dynamically. Well, just this last July, like a month ago, if you're listening, it's August the 13th, 2025. Just this last month ago, all of that is now gone. It's all off my credit. It's all off. All the books are clean, because it takes 6 to 7 years when you've gone through a proposal to really have everything clean. Everything is done. I knew I had made a great choice even back in 2019 as I started to shift things. But today, looking back over the last 6 years and understanding the courage it took for me to admit this, that courage changed my business. And where I am today and what I have created and the inspiration and ideas that keep coming to me and the amazing people that are in my life because of the courage and stepping out from under the shame has changed everything for me. I am in such a strong place, both within myself and within my business, that every day really is a joy. I know I've created something strong that I can be proud of, but I'm not proud of it because of the numbers. I'm proud of it because of the courage that I took to step forward and make the choices that were going to support me. And this is what happens when you come out from underneath the umbrella of shame. Shame is such a construct to stop you from growing. And we are taught in schools, we're taught in churches, we're taught in society that we should be ashamed of things. I can remember my sister telling me once that a teacher told her that you should be ashamed of yourself. Bullshit. No one should ever be ashamed of who they are or the choices that they have made. You're not going to learn and grow if it is layered or marinating in shame. That shame will take hold of you. I want to encourage you today, no matter where you are at in your business, whether it's day one or, month 1,000, I don't care where you're at. If you've got shame around anything in your business, I want to encourage you to consider taking that and letting it go. Consider reach out to me or reach out to a business coach that you trust and start to share where you are at, because that shame takes up more space in your head and takes up more space in your energy than you can possibly imagine. When you get rid of that shame, when you get rid of the fear of the what ifs, when you break free from the shame, you start to build a business where you are confident. You start to get more clarity on what it is that will light you up. You begin to create a business that is your business. It's authentically who you are, because you're no longer looking to fit into somebody else's reality or the way that they believe it should be. Yes, there are great people out there that have programs that you can learn from. There are amazing people that have, you can listen to talks, you can read books. I'm reading books all of the time, especially CEO Without Apology. and I'm learning all of the time. But the way someone does business has absolutely nothing to do with the way you should do business. You need to be figuring out what works for you. You need to be figuring out what really rings true for you. And if it doesn't ring true for you, it's okay. There's many, many ways to do business, and there's many people out there that when you are authentic, when you are showing up with clarity, when you're showing up with ideas that light you up, I can guarantee you there's people looking for you. There are people looking to connect with someone who is being true to themselves so that they can also be true to themselves. Business is a vital part of our world, and what you are excited about, what you create in the world, is an important piece. What's holding you back from sharing that more with other people is fear. What's holding you back is likely some level of shame, and it can be a powerful force in your life. Shame can stop you. I know people that, shame was the thing that really took my father out. It was. And I'm not ashamed to share that with you, because I want somebody out there to hear this that needs to hear this. Shame took my father from our family. That was his journey, though. It's not my journey. I know other people, it has broken up marriages. Shame has broken up marriages. I know that people in the world are ashamed of their children, or people are ashamed of their parents, and they ruin relationships. Shame needs to be burned to the ground. We need to stop this bullshit. And one of the biggest ways to do that is by being vulnerable. Are you willing to be vulnerable with yourself at the very least and see where shame or fear is stopping you? This is the first step to changing and creating the reality that's here for your taking. It's available to you. If you will allow all of the lies and all of the control and programming to vanish from your life. It takes one step at a time, and you can begin to change it. My friends, we're up for our last break of the show. We'll be right back to wrap all of this up. You're listening to Inspired Choices for Business Growth. I'm your host, Christine McIver, and we're on the Inspired Choices Network. Stick around. We'll be right back.
What if every business decision you made was aligned with a clear vision for your future success? Imagine the impact on your growth and profitability. On Inspired Choices for Business Growth, business optimization expert Christine McIver challenges you to focus your decisions on the bigger picture, helping you align your actions with the future you want for your business and yourself. With her expert insights and no-holds-barred approach, Christine guides you to optimize your business strategies for sustained growth and success. Ready to make choices that drive your business forward? Tune in now to start shaping your future today.
Are you a subject matter expert? Are you here to share your expertise with an audience waiting to hear from you in only the way you can deliver? Are you ready to have your voice amplified across the airwaves? Inspired Choices Network has a global radio platform streaming to millions of people across the world. Professionally produced and supported by an accomplished team every step of the way, you can broadcast from anywhere in the world, knowing your voice matters, and we ensure it is delivered with ease and efficiency. Eager to hear your message, the world awaits. Contact us today to become an Inspired Choices Network radio host. Email becomeahost@inspiredchoicesnetwork.com.
This is Inspired Choices for Business Growth with business optimization expert Christine McIver. To participate in the program, join our live studio audience in our chat room at inspiredchoicesnetwork.com. You can also make the choice to ask or comment by email by sending to Christine@ChristineMcIver.com. Now, back to the program.
Welcome back, everyone. Thank you so much for being here. As always, if you are enjoying this show, if this is speaking to you or you know someone that it'll speak to you, please go over to iTunes. Please give me a 5-star review. And when you do that, I will be immensely grateful. And it gives the opportunity to get this information out to people that are looking for it. It makes a huge impact when you do support us in that way. So we've got a couple of questions coming in, and one of the questions is, how can I stop my fear of being misunderstood? Well, here's the thing. You're going to be misunderstood. People aren't going to understand you. What you want to do is you want to stop the fear that you need everyone to understand you. Not everyone is your person. Not everyone is meant to connect with you. And when you have someone that doesn't understand you, use that as an opportunity to ask some questions of yourself. Why is this affecting me so much? What is it about me wanting them to understand me so badly that is really upsetting me? Am I believing that I need to be accepted by every single person? It's absolutely something that as a business owner we go through. We want to be successful. We want everyone to say yes. We want everyone to understand us. but they can't. Not everyone is going to understand you. And as you change, as I said, as you become more authentic, as you get clearer and clearer and let go of the fear and the shame, you will become your energy and your vibration and what you are speaking to will get so clear that the people that are meant to find you they can't not. Can't not find you. So being concerned about everybody understanding you is actually something within you that you want to look at. All right. You're not going to please everyone. You're just not. And if you try to, you're going to be controlled. You're going to turn yourself inside out and backwards. And that is a great way to take yourself down really, really quickly. Right. Really, really quickly. When you try to show up the way they want you to show up, yeah, you can't sustain that. You won't be able to sustain that at all. The other question was, one second, what's the best way to get out of fear of being seen? Well, first of all, let's be really clear about something. You don't have to do what I do. You don't have to be on a virtual platform and be broadcast around the world to be seen. That's not required. What you want to do is you want to understand that the fear of any fear, there's something underneath that you're buying into, that fear is real and true. Now, if you get to the space where it doesn't light me up, I'm not interested in being seen, and it's a real neutral energy, that's the true you. But if you have fear around being seen, there's something underneath that. There's something else that is driving that fear, and that's the space where you want to identify and dig into, and that's where your work begins. You know, a lot of the work that you need to do in your business may not actually be the tasks in your business. A lot of the work, and this is what I've discovered about myself, is when I wasn't doing this personal development work, or when I got, really set off or triggered, or I'd get really angry in my business, I needed to kind of step back and really take a real wide view of why I was reacting this way and what was happening for me. Most of the time, it's something within me that needed to grow, that needed to expand and let go of, in order for me to show up for myself in my business in a way that what other people were choosing didn't have an impact on me. Most recently, I've had an individual choosing something that in the past, I can tell you, would have had a huge impact on me. And today it's like, I'm still going to do me. You can go and you can do you. When people start to play those types of games, it's your opportunity to see, have you grown? Have you grown to the space that you're no longer going to allow it to stop you, that you're no longer going to allow it to take you out, and you're no longer going to buy into what they feel about you is more important than what you feel about you? That's where you want to work towards. And if you're not there, it's okay, but it's an opportunity. And oftentimes, what I've discovered is when those opportunities come up, it's like my body and my being know that it's my time, that I'm ready to change that. So if you're experiencing any of these things, know that they're coming up so you can move beyond them. Thank you all so very, very much for being here tonight. I absolutely adore doing these shows, and when timing is right and I'm able to jump in here and do the shows, it's always something that contributes not only to my listeners, but it also contributes to me. And that it's the gift that I keep giving to myself, and I keep giving to other people as well. So next week, my friends, we are going to be talking about seeing through anger in business. Oh, it's a real deal. It's the real deal. It is, anger is a real thing, and there's gifts in anger, and there's also limitations in anger. So we're going to talk about anger in business. And you just might hear me tell a few more stories, because I've experienced plenty of it, and I'm sure that I will continue. So again, if you've enjoyed the show, please give us a 5-star review on iTunes. If you're curious, if you'd like to connect with me, please send me an email, Christine@ChristineMcIver.com. Grab my book, CEO Without Apology. You can get that on Amazon, and you can also check out my website, ChristineMcIver.com. Until next week, my friends, take really good care of yourself. Be kind to you, especially you business owners out there. And I want you to remember that no matter what, you can always make another choice. You are not limited by your choices. Choices are endless. And when you make a choice that's inspired, that's coming from within you, it's going to contribute to you. Bye for now, everyone.
Thank you for tuning in to Inspired Choices for Business Growth. Christine McIver will be back next Wednesday at 8 p.m. Eastern, 7 p.m. Central, 6 p.m. Mountain, and 5 p.m. Pacific on InspiredChoicesNetwork.com. Be sure to join us again for you and your business. Until then, remember to make the choices that align with your true desires. This is your business, and it's time to create the future you truly want.